Tonight, police continue to investigate a deadly early morning shooting on Martin Street. Police say the victim, 16-year-old Vildemar Santiago, was standing on the sidewalk when he was shot. He later died at St. Francis Hospital. Police are calling this a targeted incident, saying they believe the shots came from a car. This marks the 28th homicide in the city so far this year, and family members and community activists are once again calling for an end to the violence. Santiago was shot on the same street where his friend, Juan Garcia, was killed last month. And the tragic irony underscores what a difficult summer it's been for Hartford. We spoke to Mayor Luke Bronin about it today. Hartford Mayor Luke Bronin called last night a tragic night for his city, one more tragic night and a tragic year for Hartford and many other cities across the land.
This was a tragic night in our city, and I'm just devastated for this young man and his family, and for all of his classmates. It's a student at Weaver High School. Police investigators are working as hard and as fast as they can, said Bronin, to understand what happened on Martin Street early this morning, why 16-year-old Vildemar Santiago became the latest victim of violence here, and why it happened on the same street where his friend, 17-year-old Juan Garcia, was killed last month. We know that there was a Hartford Public School social worker who had reached out to this young man just a week ago, and it's just devastating. And in the meantime, the city will provide as much support as the family needs. But the wider problem of street violence, he said, cannot be solved by police alone. That's why the community partnerships are so important. Partnerships with organizations that are out there intervening in the cycles of violence, bringing comfort to friends and family of those who are lost, trying to identify disputes before they escalate, before they turn into a tragedy. Part of the challenge for those organizations and police is getting young people re-engaged and reconnected after the pandemic. And make sure that they are connected to school, connected to supports. The Hartford Public Schools team and many partners throughout the city have been out there doing everything they can to reach out personally to kids who may not be as connected as they need to be. Make sure they're in the classroom, but beyond being in the classroom, getting the support that they need. And of course, this recent violence has Hartford residents on edge tonight.
Gabby Molina is in Hartford on Martin Street where that shooting happened and continues our team coverage. Gabby.
That's right. 16-year-old Vildemar Santiago was killed here on Martin Street. I'm going to step out of the way so you can see behind me. Police say that it happened on that sidewalk, and you can see that there's a memorial there with candles and balloons. That's for Santiago's 17-year-old friend who lived at that home on Martin Street and was shot and killed on the same street just the month prior. Again, just a absolutely tragic situation. Two teenagers killed on the same street just over a month apart here. And again, Santiago was at this site when he was killed himself. I spoke to Reverend Brown of Mothers United Against Violence today. He was here at the site and he told me that he's been in contact with the 16-year-old's family today and that they are just absolutely devastated. He responds to incidents of gun violence in the city, and he said the deaths of teenagers in these scenarios are becoming all too common here in Hartford, and he wants to see the community do its part in ending the violence.
If you see something, say something. If you know who's doing these things, talk about it and tell somebody. If you're afraid to talk, tell somebody that's not afraid to talk. But we need to do something to get these vicious killings to stop. Again, we'll talk about the loss of a 17-year-old and a 16-year-old, and who's next? But we know that it's going to be somebody.
Now, Hartford police are also encouraging anyone that might have any information about what happened to give them a call. Mothers United Against Violence will be holding a vigil remembering Santiago. That's scheduled for tomorrow evening at 5 p.m. Live in Hartford, Gabby Molina, Fox 61 News.